And I am truly, this is kind of big, isn't it? Do we really need this up? I guess we do for this. No, it's all right. I'm going to have to get on a little stand or something here. What are you laughing at? You're not that big, Blair. Yeah. That's what I mean. Get my old soapbox, right? You know that. Kyoki's bringing up something from the old days, right? On the soap. I'll tell you a soapbox story at some time about that. This is probably not the first time I've had a real big smile on my face coming into a press conference about our finances. The recent positive balance we were able to report, the change around, complete turnaround, of course, did that. But today is really one of the joyful days of this administration, and in fact, almost anything with which I've been associated for many years. We're going to have up very shortly a graph which is going to show where we are right now with the Comprehensive Annual Financial Report, what's commonly known as the CAFR, the Comprehensive Financial Report. This is fantastic news for the state of Hawaii, and it shows where this administration is going, where we were when we came in, where we are now. The positive balance, the budget balance that we reported just recently, that's in effect your cash account. That's the cash flow for your household, our Hawaii family household. For when we've gone from the negative, the 200 million plus in 2010 to the $840 plus million positive balance this year. That's your cash account. That's your cash flow for a year. What the Comprehensive Annual Financial Report shows is what your financial accounting is, your net worth. What are your assets versus your liabilities? Your assets minus your liabilities. The value of what you have versus the value of what you owe. And as you can see, we started out in 2005. Steady downward path. 2010, from the trough that was visible, right there in the middle. In 2009, we start moving upwards. That is to say, the negative side was decreasing. And because of the fiscal management, our capacity to take care of everything from the assets of our buildings and our properties to what our unfunded liabilities would be over time, our net assets, we've punched over the negative line into this extraordinarily encouraging positive side right now. We're able to make this distinction now because when we came in, you may recall that the credit rating agencies had us in the negative side because among other things, even though they might be able to pick up on what was done in a given year, we were a couple of $100 million in the hole, not a good thing. They also couldn't tell how did that relate to the actual worth of the state, the net assets of the state versus its liabilities. Because when we came in, the Comprehensive Annual Financial Report was as much as 16 months behind. Now, the ideal is to try to get it down within 6 months. The fiscal year ends, say, June 30th. Within 6 months, you want to be able to say to anybody who wants to know, where are you? How stable are you? Or unstable are you? Within 6 months, you need to be able to do that. We've pulled that time down, working with the legislative auditor who's represented here today, going from the time of Marion to Jan and Ron, who are with us today. We have pulled that time down to 6 months. So much so that we just received the Award of Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting from the National Government Financial Officers Association. You only get that when you've met the mark, when you meet the professional standards. So the credit rating agencies not only are giving us high marks in terms of the fiscal management of this state, but they're also saying that they can understand what our fiscal situation is so that they can make that kind of evaluation because of the terrific work that Kalbert and Lewis and Dean and the auditor and the departments have been doing, pulling this all together. So from the point of view of the net worth of the state, for the first time in 7 years, we're powering into the black, into the positive side, and we're going to keep going. I'm very, very proud of these folks. They've taken the bit right between their teeth and they've moved down the track onto the positive side. We have the budget balance numbers, and now we have the net worth numbers that shows what the fiscal management of this administration has accomplished. Our cash flow is the way it should be, and our net worth is where we need to be going. And with that, I'm going to ask Dean perhaps to bring us up to date a little bit more as to these numbers and what our net worth is. Dean is so confident about our net worth that he's put on a suit and tie today to celebrate. And then Kalbert, of course, said, I knew it all along. That's why he's dressed so casually today, and will be able to fill in for us. Dean.
Thank you, Governor. I think Governor sees me in aloha shirts more often than not, so this is a special event. But thank you, Governor. You know, we are proud to announce that the CAFR was done on time, and really it's an example of how the leadership of the governor in directing us to complete the CAFR in a timely manner. He knows how important it is, and it's no small feat, though. It came at the help of all the departments in the executive branch, but most importantly with Kalbert's Department of Budget and Finance and with Jan Yamani's, the legislative auditor. We collaborated together to get it done in a timely manner. I really would like to single out two people, though, that really made this all possible, and it was Deputy Director Louis Salaveria and also Deputy Comptroller Maria Zielinski that really helped to put this all together. So I'd like to thank them for making it all happen. I really can't say anything more, really. I think Governor covered it all, and really,
the numbers speak for themselves.
Yeah, really, he made a point that the numbers really do speak for themselves. The state's financial house is in order, and I think we hope it's just going to keep getting better.
Thank you. Kalbert?
Thanks, Governor. Thanks, Dean. I would just say that when we started back in 2011 in Budget and Finance, one of the critical components that was missing for the state was timely financial reporting. And in fact, in speaking with the former legislative auditor, Marian Higa, she also agreed that more attention and more emphasis, proactive efforts needed to be placed on the part of the administration to be able to drive production of the CAFR in a timely basis. And on in the credit markets over that same period of time, financial reporting has become ever more increasingly expected from investors, from credit agencies, from the general public. And so one of the things that we were very glad to do was for the Department of Budget and Finance and the Department of Accounting and General Services to reach out to the legislative auditor and to find out what can be done on the executive branch's side to help facilitate more timely production along the way from all of the departments. And it's taken a fair amount of time, and it takes an awful lot of work to get a financial report of a state like Hawaii completed within 6 to 7 months, and I think the legislative auditor would also attest as much. But for the last 3 years, with a lot of heartache and hard work and pain, the state's been able to accomplish that. And I think when you look at the Award of Excellence from the Government Finance Officers Association, which, by the way, is the first time in the past 5 years that the state's been able to get that award. I think that demonstrates the amount of effort that it takes and the path and progress that the state has made with the legislative branch and the executive branch to get this report completed on time. And when you look forward in terms of what the state has, we still are looking to drive production of the financial reports to even faster than 7 or 6 months. And that is one of the reasons why the state's been pushing on our ERP project for improved technology. And we think that that will help be the catalyst for even more rapid production of financial reporting. So with that, I think where we are today, there's a lot of progress that can be made, but we've certainly have demonstrated a lot of progress up to this point. If you look at the CAFR, it is available online at the Department of Accounting General Services or the Department of Budget and Finance website. Some of the financial statements that Dean and the Governor have alluded to do show financial metrics of an improving financial condition and structure in the state of Hawaii. So this graph here, I'll explain it. I know Dean was going to explain it. Each of the bars represents the change in net assets from year to year. So where the lines are black or tall, those are the years the state was able to grow its total net worth, net assets. But where the bars are red or below the line, those are the years that the state actually experienced decreasing. And each year it was decreasing in terms of liabilities. In total net assets, liabilities outpaced assets. So what's significant about the FY13 CAFR is that we see that trend has reversed, and we hope maybe what we're seeing is the first year of future years where the state's net worth can once again start on a positive trajectory of building additional net worth each year, or net asset value. And so if anybody has any questions on the technicalities within the CAFR, I'm sure Dean, myself, or any of our deputies could also respond as well. Thank you, Governor.
Thanks. Why don't we all stay up here so that we can answer it. Nestor, nice to see you again in harness. Good for you.
You put in your statement, Governor, about positive trends in the local economy.
Mm-hmm.
Can you elaborate on what these positive trends could be?
The unemployment rate continues to decline. On Oahu in December, it was 3.8%. I invite that with comparisons anywhere in the country, in any urban area, or in any state for that matter, a little bit over 4% for the entire state, compared to any other state, except for those that have oil and natural gas revenues, for example. They may be doing slightly better in that regard. The number of people employed in our service industries and our construction industry are going up by the thousands. The available revenue per room in the travel and hospitality industry is among the highest, if not the highest, in the country. I believe some of the latest figures show as much as $45 a room more than, say, New York City. The record number of visitors, the record number of expenditures by those visitors last year, the continued emphasis on the role of the Pacific Command here in Hawaii, the prospect of 2,700 plus Marine families coming here from Okinawa in the near future, the pivot to the use of Pohakaloa as the premier training site on that side of the equation, the high hopes we have to bring to a conclusion the situation at Turtle Bay, where we can resolve that so people can have confidence with regard to what we're going to be able to do for preserving the windward side and the North Shore. The excellent possibilities with the cooperation of the legislature in purchasing agricultural land that's going to be used, not just preserved, but utilized for growing in the central part of Oahu. The fact that we are now in a position to be able to bring tax relief to seniors who are currently paying income tax on their retirement. For all those with IRAs and 401ks and others, they're paying tax right now. It's not fair to have some paying and others not. We want to bring equity for our seniors, put more cash in their pockets. So I think on whatever level you want to put it, individual income, investment, we're building more housing. You can see that just in the Sunday Star Advertiser was the full-page announcement of the housing available down in Haleakala Place, the development in Kaka'ako that shows that we're moving forward on providing housing, rentals and purchases in central Honolulu, so that we're not exacerbating the urban sprawl that might otherwise occur. On every level, I think we're moving forward. On every level, there's positive signs. On every level, there's every reason to have confidence in where we're going.
Positive signs get turned.
Director Young, maybe to respond to why it took so long to get the CAFR in previous years. Was it a staff issue? What was the reason the CAFR had been delayed in those previous
Yeah.
years?
The CAFR, because we're using these acronyms now, I want to make clear, is the Comprehensive Annual Financial Report. It's different from just saying what our balance was in a given year, how much our expenditures for 1 year was versus our revenues for 1 year. The comprehensive mean comprehensive, everything from vehicles in the carpool to net worth of property that we have. So the reason it took, well, I'll let Kalbert go into what the reason. Part of it was political. Part of it was indifference from those who had financial responsibility, whether in the legislature or in the executive, to getting it done. And one of the first things that was said to me by Kalbert and the budget and finance people is this is absolutely unacceptable. Absolutely unacceptable. We cannot kick this can down the road, too, with all the other cans that got kicked down the road by those who supposedly had financial responsibility in the state and who failed to act on it.
From an operations side, Derek, actually, from between maybe 2007 through 2010, those fiscal years, production of CAFR was challenged because during that same period of time, the state had a reduction in resources. So whether it be staffing across all departments, not only in Department of Accounting and General Services, but also in the other departments. There's also severe shortage of resources for technology. And then the overwhelming just attention of prioritization of getting the CAFR completed against all the other myriad of state programs and work products that had to be delivered. So fixing a lot of that in order to get the CAFR produced more timely required prioritization to increase the emphasis on getting it done, but also repositioning limited resources and then adding 2 resources to be able to produce all of the statements that roll up into the CAFR.
Did it have a practical effect in the bond market when you went out when you didn't have, I mean, I know we sold bonds in those years, but did you hear that from credit rating agencies that you need to speed that?
Yes, so in May of 2011, the state of Hawaii was downgraded by one of the agencies, and actually agencies since then had identified, for a number of reasons, one of them was timeliness of financial reporting as a negative factor for the state. But we actually had, the practical impact was we actually had conversations with institutional investors that previously buy a lot of bonds in the national market and previously held a lot of Hawaii bonds. But in 2011 and 12, with the financial crisis at its peak, investors were much more savvy and very reluctant of issuers who did not report their financial reporting. Hawaii actually lost investors in 2011 and 12 because it did not have timely financial reportings up through 2010. So since then, though, I'm happy to report that we've re-engaged those same investors. They are aware that Hawaii is more timely. It has resonated with them. Some of them have come back to buy, but the significance globally is that we are competing against thousands of investors out there for a limited supply of money. And so it's important that Hawaii stands out. And one of the ways that we can stand out is by being very transparent with investors about what our financial condition is. So that's what the CAFR, timeliness of the CAFR represents.
When I have said in the past, and I'll say again today, look, these are serious questions that can't be pushed down the road. And so when Kalbert and the budget and finance team came in and told me, look, this has to be a priority. We simply have to do it. If we intend to get investors back with confidence in Hawaii, this is what has to be done. And so of course, we tried to get more resources put there, personnel and otherwise. But I said, this has to be a priority. No matter what else happens, we're going to report the comprehensive annual financial audit on time. I don't care what the excuses were in the past. This is what needs to be done if we're truly going to bring Hawaii back into the forefront of confidence with regard to investors and credit rating agencies. And you see the dividends that are coming from that decision.
Governor, how much credit do you give to legislative leaders, including the gentleman who's actually running against you, for helping the state arrive at such a big surplus?
Well, I'm always pleased to share credit when people realize that they can't avoid their responsibilities anymore and take it up. All I can say is this, that when you want to claim credit when things are going right, I think it's fair to say, are you also claiming responsibility when things were going south, when they're in the negative stage? All I can say to you is that when we came into office, we started righting the ship. The numbers started going in the right direction. That's a question of leadership. We went to the legislature and said, this is where we're going. These are the decisions we have to make. This is the direction we need to go. So they had the opportunity before, they didn't do it. So I'm quite pleased to be able to say that the legislature responded positively to the leadership that was exhibited by the people in this administration, and I played the hand I was dealt. When we came in and we had the deficit, when we did not have the comprehensive financial reports being done on time, I put my arms around it and said, that's going to stop. I went to the legislature and said, this is it. This is what has to be passed. This is what has to be done. This is the direction we need to go in. You cannot avoid your responsibilities any longer. Now, all I'm saying to those who want to claim credit, welcome. Happy to do it. Arms around everybody. But by the same token, then, it seems to me that anybody claiming credit also needs to take responsibility when things were going the other way and nothing got done. Anything else?
Positive trends in the credit rating agencies are looking at you in a different way now. You're more timely financial reporting, you're on a firmer financial footing.
Yes.
You've got a surplus. What's going to be your general approach with the money? Some people are a little hesitant about, a little skeptical about this surplus that it might get drained quickly because we have this money in the bank. Let's spend it. What is going to be your approach?
Well, no, what we have to do then is take a look at what kind of investments we can make. This is not a question of bonus money sitting on a table. This is a matter of having a financial plan that incorporates the revenues and expenditures that our financial plan encompasses, and saying, here's the areas that we have sufficient funds to make the investments that are going to pay big dividends in the future, like preschool. We invest now in preschool, invest in our 3 and 4 and 5-year-olds. That's going to pay huge dividends in terms of the likelihood of their success in school, the capacity that they'll have to get good jobs. Across the board, it's incontrovertible that any state that has a comprehensive preschool program is going to have big dividends in terms of the individual capabilities coming to fulfillment in those children. To invest in the infrastructure right now that will enable us to meet the standards necessary to compete in the 21st century, say in the hospitality industry. I invite you to talk to the airline committee. That is 20-plus airlines, fierce competitors with one another. We had a meeting just the other night in which they were saying, for the first time, the state actually has a comprehensive infrastructure plan that's going to bring our airports into the 21st century so that we can compete in this transnational, international market of hospitality that is more fiercely competitive than ever before. So my answer on the question of investment is let's pick the places that we know are going to pay dividends to Hawaii and make an investment. That's not a cost, that's an investment.
Governor, just to follow up on Kirby's question, if I understood you correctly, are you saying when you came in, the people in the legislature like David Ige, Donna King was in charge of WAM at that time, they were not realizing their responsibility?
What I'm saying is if you want to claim credit, then take responsibility too when things were going the other way. That's all. I'm not. I'm just saying that whether it's a legislative side of the House, whether it's the executive side of the House, you have to take responsibility. And all I ask anybody to do is take a look at the record. When we came in, all I can account for is what happened starting in December of 2010. We were in a terrible deficit. For our given year, we were way behind on our comprehensive annual reports. Our assets were in the negative. Over the past 3 years, all those have been reversed. That's leadership. Thank you. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks. Hey, thanks,